Welcome to the Debt Investor. Today we're going to learn one thing, and it's how banks make money and how you can too. So everybody knows that banks make money through this process called lending, right? Because if they just take your money, put it in the drawer, and pay you 2 or 3% on it, they're going to lose money. So they have to put that money to work, and they do that through lending, whether it be on houses, cars, businesses, personal loans, credit cards, whatever it may be, it's lending. And so we do the same thing here, except we always lend on real estate. So why do we lend on real estate? And the answer is because it's a good piece of collateral. So cars depreciate, credit cards have no collateral, businesses typically have limited, if any, collateral when they're starting out. But real estate appreciates, so it goes up over time. So we lend on real estate, and then we're going to have to pay, if we go to the bank to borrow money, which I'm going to show you how you can actually become the bank and lend money to real estate investors. You don't even have to have $200,000 or $300,000. You can do it with as little as 20 or 30 grand. And so they're going to make money in two ways. So they're going to have origination fees, and these could be from anywhere between 1% to 3%, maybe a little lower, maybe a little higher, depending on the bank and where you go. And then they're going to make money on the interest of the loan. And so this could be anywhere currently, probably 6.5% plus, right? And so some stuff like HELOCs can get into the 9s. Adjustable rates can get high if they're smaller balances and stuff like that. I just saw an ARM the other day that was at 9.32, I think. So they're making their money. But those are their two main profit drivers. That's how they're going to make money. And so just imagine they go and lend. They don't do it this small, but imagine they went and lent $50,000. And so you might have $50,000 in a 401k, a self-directed IRA, brokerage account, bank account, and bonds, whatever. And this might be a better vehicle for you. So they have this $50,000, and they're going to lend it out at 10% because they watch the rest of our stuff and they know how to do that. And they're going to do that for 7 years, 10 years, right? They want longer term cash flow. And so they're going to get an origination fee on that too, which is going to be 1 to 3%. So anywhere from $500 to $1,500, right? Which is pretty cool. And then, so we have 120 years. So the payment they're going to receive here is $660.75 per month for lending out this money. So they take their $50,000 and they lend it to somebody at 10% for 10 years, and they're going to get $660 a month. And at the end of the 10 years, the loan is going to be paid off. And so that comes to a total of $79,290.44. Except we're going to add in our origination fee. So say that was $1,000, right? So now we're at $80,290.44. And there's two main reasons why the banks like lending on these type of loans, which are called amortized. And all that means is it pays the principal balance off over time. So this is your typical 15 or 30-year home loan. They were talking about doing a 50-year, but this is the structure of that. And so the two reasons the banks love it are, one, because they get money back. And so they get their capital back, and they take that and reinvest it. So think about it. If you're a bank and you have $10 million worth of loans out, and every month you get $100,000 worth of payments, well, now you can take that $100,000 every month and go write a new loan. And so they can recycle it. And you can too, just on a smaller scale. And then the second thing they like is it actually decreases risk over time. And we have some videos about that. But just to get the gist of it, if you start with say we just lent $50,000, so we have an $80,000 property on a $50,000 loan. Okay, well, if they're going to pay this loan off to zero, right? So their payment schedule looks something like it's a little more arced than that, but just bear with me. And then the property is going to appreciate. So the property goes up over time. Well, what just happened, right? Well, everything here is cushioned protecting our money, right? And so we started with a $30,000 cushion, right? 50 or 80 minus 50. And then out here, the house might be worth 90 and they might only owe 30, okay? And so now that's a $60,000 cushion, and it only gets bigger and bigger. And so hypothetically, or technically, the last payment is actually the safest. So you take 50,000, they owe 600 bucks left or 400 bucks left or whatever. You get the 12% on your money, but it's just for that 1 month. And so you might be doing the math and say, well, 50,000, 12% on 50,000 is 10,000 bucks or 6,000 bucks. Terrible at math right there. And so 6,000, I should make $60,000 throughout the life of the loan. Well, that's in an interest-only term. So if you just did interest only, whoops, my pen went away. If you did interest only and the balance stayed the same, you could do that. But as you can see here, your risk is a lot higher, right? With amortized, we gain all this cushion down here. And so that's what we want. We don't want to have all of our capital in one deal. We want it to get to, say, right here, and we take it and we reinvest it in another deal. And then it comes back down here, we take it and we reinvest it in another deal. And so it's just a flywheel, money going out, money coming in, but it's not all going out or coming in from the same place. And so that's going to help us mitigate risk and really diversify the portfolio. So overall, this is pretty much what banks do. So in this example, what I was talking about, you're 80 and you're 50, right? So on this 50, it might go to 45,000 after year one, right? And so you still get the 12%. You're not getting 6,000 bucks a year, or 10% in this case would be 5,000 bucks. You're not getting $5,000 a year in interest. You're getting 10% on the remaining balance. So if we have $45,000, 10%, right, equals $4,500. And so they're going to divide that by 12, whatever that is, 400 something bucks, 300 something bucks. And that's going to go to interest, and then you're going to make a portion of the rest of the payment that goes to principal. And so you do get 12% on the money invested in the deal. The thing about this is, and why you don't get the large amount of interest that you feel like you should when you pull the calculator out, is because it's amortized. And so your money actually comes back to you, and it's a really powerful way to invest. Really, it's a lot cooler than interest only, a lot better from a risk perspective and a couple other things. But overall, this is what the banks do, and they've done it for decades, right? Everybody looks at banks and say, oh, well, they make a ton of money. Nobody ever asks, how can I do it too? So I got bored one day and asked that question, and now we're here. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed something. I hope you learned. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, dislike the video, whatever you want to do. If you want to learn more about this, in the description below, there will be a link to our absolutely free course. I literally have nothing to sell you. And then if you want to buy a note or talk about buying a note, feel free to reach out to us, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, and we'll get in contact and we can walk you through the process and help you out. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. More importantly, I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.